Ladies and gentlemen, the Great Southwest Radio Theater Project is on the air. Live from the Cimarron Trails Manufactured Home Park in Santan Valley, Arizona, the Great Southwest Radio Theater Project presents an evening of live radio drama from the golden age of radio. First, on this day after Valentine's Day, a story about a young man who left his small town in Illinois to seek political fame on the highest order, but who never forgot his true love he left behind. Next, a brief murder mystery that we hope you listeners can solve before the end of our 5-minute mystery. And following our station break, we will return with our next radio play based upon a true occurrence right here in central Arizona back in 1930. We will end our performance with a radio play from the fictitious neighborhood of Wistful Vista, a comedy classic from one of the longest-running radio series from 1935 until 1956, The Adventures of a Working-Class Couple, Fibber McGee and Molly. We will bring you our first drama, but first, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Carlos Jimenez.
Life is dull, it's nothing but one big lull, and presto you do a skull and find that you're reeling. She sighs and you're feeling like a toy on a string. Your heart goes ring-a-ding-ding, ring-a-ding-ding, ring-a-ding-ding. How could that funny face that seemed to be commonplace project you right into space without any warning? Don't know if it's morning, nighttime, winter, or spring. What's the difference? Ring-a-ding-ding, ring-a-ding-ding, ring-a-ding-ding. She takes your hand, that captivating creature, and like it's planned, you're in the phone book looking for the nearest preacher. Life is swell, you're off to that small hotel, and somewhere a village bell will sound in the steeple, announcing to people love's the loveliest thing. And the bell goes ring-a-ding-ding, ring-a-ding-ding, ring-a-ding-ding. Sinatra recorded this in 1961, long before any of you were born. But I'm pretty sure you know some of it. Let's do that second verse together. What do you think? She grabs your hand, this captivating creature, and like it's planned, you're in the phone book looking for the nearest preacher. Life is swell, you're off to that small hotel, and somewhere a village bell will sound in the steeple, announcing to people love's the loveliest thing. And the bell goes ring-a-ding-ding, 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 ring-a-ding-ding. Thank you.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please. The American Broadcasting Company presents Quiet Please, which is written and directed by Wyllis Cooper. It first aired on February 13th, 1949. Quiet Please for today is called Valentine.
The little towns, I never see them anymore. Pekin, Delavan, Bloomington, Galesburg, Lewiston, all the little towns above the Sangamon River with the cobblestones going down to the steamboat landings. The little towns under the hills, and the shocks of corn standing lonely and snow-covered, like the teepees of old Shabona's people, the good Indians that saved so many white men's lives in the old days. There's a red brick Baptist church, I remember, and a courthouse with tall limestone pillars, with a portico that looks like a disreputable ancient Greek temple. I can only think of them and remember them, for I never go far away from here. It is restful here, and I think I have earned rest, for I've come a long, long journey. My work is finished long ago, so I rest. And sometimes in the night, I walk for a while and remember. And the old house down on State Street is almost unchanged. The hands of time have touched it lightly, and it's a comforting thing to go there and at night and sit alone and remember. And always this time of year, I remember the Valentine, so long ago. The little houses along the road and the ravine that goes down to the Sangamon. And now, in early February, the ground is soft and damp with the melting snow. The watery sun shines down on the eager young trees, and there's a promise of spring in the first February thaw. And the frogs are stirring deep in the cold mud under the spongy earth, and the ghosts in the old graveyard smile at the first obscure signs of spring. I remember the muddy road up from Vandalia, and the high-wheeled buggies mirrored down in the low places, and the long, flat roads across the prairie, where the grass grew from horizon to horizon. I hear her voice in the nighttime, and it is a far, far sound, though I wake and hear it so many, many times. I have many bitter memories and a few happy ones. I wonder what the world would think of the memories that come most often to haunt me among the echoing corridors under the ancient oaks. I dream of battles, they think. I dream of a victory won and the acclaim of men. Do they think I've forgotten the long, sweet days of my young manhood? Her Valentine still exists and is still to be seen and touched. And if you ever look upon it, I hope you remember me, for only I remember her. Remember me, and shed a tear, perhaps, for lost loveliness. I was gone away from her. They sent me away, and I was a little proud in my new clothes and with my parcel of books on the desk beside me. Out all thoughts, I even thought of her. A boy of 25 sitting in the General Assembly, speaking gravely of laws and the affairs of the people, and not remembering my own. And back at home, a girl, forlorn for an absent lover, remembering promises and waiting and waiting, and waiting in the store of a dark January morning.
Andrew, I haven't had any word from him for ever so long, but, he's so busy, and they take so much of his time, you know. Maybe there'll be a letter tomorrow.
Jack Armstrong had a letter from him last week, Annie. He wasn't too busy to write Jack.
Oh, well, the Armstrongs are his oldest friends, you know.
Sure seems strange he don't write you.
He's busy.
A lot of pretty girls down there in Vandalia, I hear tell.
But never a girl in Vandalia to make me turn my solemn head. I was full of the thrill of helping to make the laws that my people were to live by. And I was fascinated by the strutting politicians in their tall hats. And I made great argument with them in the long tavern nights. And I put off letters till tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow.
I expect a letter any day now. Or maybe he'll be coming home again soon.
Figured you'd be looking around a little, Annie, for yourself. Think maybe he might have given you the mitten?
Oh, no, Aunt Hannah. He'd never do that to me.
Well, I sure hope he ain't, Annie. You just keep up your spirits and a day'll come, I always say. Have you wrote him a letter?
Why, I write him nearly every day. I'll be hearing from him any day, just like you said.
Tomorrow, all right, I said. Tomorrow. And I sat in my lonely room and I remembered the hillside in the summertime and the haze of the heat laying heavy on the low hills on beyond the curves of the Sangamon. I remembered a hand in mine as we sat on a hillside above the town, and the homesick song of the cicadas in the orchard, and the reluctant westering sun. I remembered what I had said to her on that long summer afternoon, and alone in my mean little room, I wept to remember, but I did not write. And today, after all the years, I weep again, remembering.
He'll be coming back. He'll be coming back for his birthday, won't he? Wait, the session's over now, and he'll be coming back from Vandalia on a tall horse, and there isn't a thing that'll hold him back from me. I know he'll be back home for his birthday.
The gavel fell, and the booming voice spoke. I do now declare this General Assembly adjourned. And I took the horse for home. And now my heart was heavy with doubt, for I remember my long silence, and my mind now wrestled with darkest premonitions. What would my homecoming be after all these long months of silence? Yes, I loved her. Must you ask? Can you remember back to the days when you were 25? Can you remember what little things can make a lover's reuniting or break it? Can you remember the simple, humble things that says, I have not forgotten, and that brings the happy smile that banishes doubt and wipes away the memory of unwritten words and... Wait, I remembered. I remembered the pleasant saint, the patron of all of us who love. I remembered paper hearts and ribbons and lace. And in the pouring rain, I lifted up my head and said, Thank you, Saint Valentine. And the morning came and I was home and my horse was tied up at the hitching post. And I strode into the store, all muddy and triumphant.
Well, Abe. Hi there, Abe.
Hello, Andrew.
We thought you was never coming back.
I took a real mighty long break to make it. But I got here. How are you?
I'm finer than frog's hair. Abe, hey, you look as if you growed down there in Vandalay.
Well, I always looked if I've growed, don't I? Say, have you seen Anne this morning, Andrew?
Not since yesterday, no.
How is she, Andrew?
Kinda peaked, Abe.
Is she sick?
Nah, just on account you not writing any letters to her.
I'm sorry about that.
You better be.
How's everything around home, Andrew?
Miss ya.
I miss you all. How's business?
Well, we'll get by. You had breakfast yet?
No, I just got here. I can breakfast later. Look, Andrew, I want something.
If you don't see for it, ask for it.
Well,
how's life down there in the city anyway? Lots of people, huh?
Hundreds. Say, what I wanted...
A lot of stores?
Oh, sure.
A lot of women?
Mm-hmm.
Sure like to hear about Vandalay. I never been out of this place since I come here.
Well, I guess I didn't write very often.
Sure do want to hear about it. Hey, now what's all you wanted?
Well,
Mighty warm for the day before Valentine's Day.
Hello, Aunt Hannah.
Well, I'll be dogged, Abe.
Why, hello there, Aunt Hannah.
Well, I declare. How's it down there in Vandalay?
Well, fine.
Here, let me kiss you. Oh, well, I sure am tickled you got back home.
Oh, me too.
Thought maybe all them fine folks down there made you forget your own people.
I'm never going to forget my people, Aunt Hannah.
Pretty nigh forget Annie, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't write.
Never wrote at all the way I heard it.
Well,
Good morning, Andrew.
I was busy.
Morning, Aunt Hannah. What's your pleasure this morning?
I want 2 cups molasses, Andrew.
2 cups?
And keep your thumb out of it, too, you hear me?
Never miss, Aunt Hannah.
Well...
What's the matter with you?
Well, see here, Andrew. Aunt Hannah, do you mind? I have to...
Oh, you take your time there, boy. You got all day.
What do you want?
I want a Valentine.
Ain't got none.
You haven't?
Nope. Who's it for?
Who's it for? Who do you think it's for, you old fool?
Well, I ain't got none.
Oh, you had some last year.
That was last year.
Listen, I well remember. You had one left.
Oh, did I?
There was one. And it was so dear, nobody'd buy it. Remember?
You sure, Aunt Hannah?
Well, let me see.
60 cents you wanted for it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I kind of remember.
You wrapped it up in brown paper and you put it up there on top of the shelf above the dried peaches. I remember it just as plain. You look, Andrew.
Yeah, let me see. More things up here onto the shelf.
That's it. You got it.
I'll be dogged. Roses is red, violets are blue.
Love you, dope.
That's it. Well, yep, that's it. Pretty, ain't it?
It's torn. The lace is torn.
Well, I could knock off 3 cents on account of that.
You'll knock off 10 cents. It's last year's. Besides, it's torn. Oh, Annie'll love it.
It's just the thing, Aunt Hannah, isn't it?
Oh, she'll just bust. Oh,
Eh?
hide quick.
What's the matter?
Annie, she's coming up the road. Quick, grab the Valentine and hide.
Well,
Get behind the shelves here.
Yes.
Hurry up.
Yes, but...
Oh, go on and hide and surprise her. Hurry. Shh.
Whose horse is that tied out there, Andrew?
Why,
Morning, Annie.
Oh, good morning, Aunt Hannah. Whose did you say, Andrew?
What was you expecting somebody, Annie?
Well, of course I was. I was hoping he'd get back for his birthday yesterday, but he didn't. I know he must have tried to, and I hope... Oh, Andrew, a Valentine!
well, I don't know exactly like what to tell you on.
Valentine. Oh,
The Valentine! I was hoping you'd have one. Oh, I'm so glad.
it's tore, honey.
Oh, he won't mind. How much is it, Andrew?
60, I was aiming to keep it.
Why? What for?
Well, it's the only one I've got, and
I've got to have it, Andrew.
It's last year's.
it's the only one I've got, and,
May I have it, Andrew?
well,
60 cents, you said? I'll give you 65.
well,
Don't you sell that old ragged Valentine to this girl.
well,
Oh, Aunt Hannah, I must have it. I didn't get a thing for his birthday, and I just hoped I'd be able to get him a Valentine, and it'd be kind of a birthday present, too.
well,
Can't I have it, Andrew?
oh, what do you say, Aunt Hannah?
Don't you try to put this on me, you hear?
Please,
I oughta...
please, Andrew.
Oh, sell it to her, Andrew.
Oh, thank you, Aunt Hannah. He'll be so pleased with it.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
I really have to get it for it, Andrew, because I kind of expect he'll bring me one from Vandalia.
You do?
Oh, I hope so. Oh, they must have wonderful ones in the big stores down there.
Well,
Oh, it's silly, but it is beautiful, isn't it? Didn't you get Valentines when you were a girl, Aunt Hannah?
oh, land. It's been so long I never remember.
Isn't much, really. But he'll like it.
You want to write onto it, Annie?
Right what?
What? Ain't you going to write down that you love him, Annie?
Why, he knows it, Aunt Hannah. And I know it. And the whole world knows it. Must I write it down?
And the days are many and the nights are long since that 13th of February in the little store on the Sangamon River. And I've seen many places, the little towns and the mighty ones. Cities happy and jubilant, cities forlorn and grief-stricken. And I've known hope and gladness and exultation in my time, as well as tears and sadness. But never in all my years have I felt the gladness, the simple, overwhelming joy of that moment when I heard the words of this girl I loved. And thus today my grief is the greater. She walked out of the store and I remember I was 25. I was crushed with disappointment. A Valentine, you say? No, that was a priceless gift I had in my mind that morning. And the irony of it, she snatched my own gift, unknowing, to give it to me. And I was returning, repentant to her, but empty-handed. And the laughter of Andrew and Aunt Hannah Armstrong did nothing to assuage of my disappointment and my unhappiness. And I followed her out of the store at a little distance, followed her up the ravine and up the hillside, till she came to the old meeting place. I think it is very much the same today as it was then in the time when I came to her empty-handed after the long empty months. Then, when she came into the place, she turned and she held out her arms.
I knew it was you following me. I knew it. And I wouldn't turn around and look because I wanted to see you first, up here on the hillside.
Anne, darling.
Darling. You've been gone so long.
And I never wrote to you.
But you thought of me.
I thought of you.
I've thought of you every single minute while you've been gone.
I know. The letters.
You've changed.
No.
You have changed. You're sadder and you're...
I'm older.
Oh, your birthday yesterday.
I was 25. I'm getting old.
Oh, no.
Old and forgetful.
Oh, no, you're not. You were busy. I've got a birthday present for you.
Why, you know you shouldn't have done that.
It's a Valentine.
Oh, Valentine's Day's tomorrow.
It's the very last one Mr. Offutt had in the store.
I know.
You know.
I was going to get it for you.
Oh, well, I don't need a Valentine, really.
What? Well, I mean, but...
Tell me you love me. That'll be my Valentine.
Anne.
You didn't write me. I was so afraid.
I could never forget you, Anne.
Never, never, never?
As long as I live, and forever.
We'll be so happy.
Well, we'll go and live in Vandalia.
And then a day'll come when you'll go to the new State House in Springfield. Then I'll be a congressman's wife. We'll go and live in Washington.
And you'll go with me. You'll be my star that I'll follow.
And you'll be a great man.
Why, I could be president.
Oh, yes, darling, do be president. And then, after years, they'll build a great high monument to you, and everybody'll say, he was the greatest president that ever was.
And it'll all be due to you.
Madam President.
I'd lay the riches of all the world at your feet, Anne.
But you didn't bring me a Valentine.
What can I do? What? I'm so sorry.
I love you. Valentine or no Valentine, dearest. Always and always and always.
Always and always. And we'll always be together.
Never to be apart from each other again?
Never, never, Anne.
Oh, hold me. I'm so cold suddenly.
It's just a cloud over the sun.
Hold me. Always hold me.
Always.
I know it. You'll be a great, great man, darling.
And with you beside me, I will.
But if I die...
Don't say that.
Kiss me again.
And we sat for a long, long time in the sudden chill of the afternoon. And we were so in love, Anne and I. And we spoke no word for the longest time, only sat there and dreamed of the future, the rosy future, and nothing but happiness.
Happiness, happiness, happiness.
And we'll be married as soon as you finish school.
Nobody will ever be as happy as we'll be, and if I die?
No, don't say that.
If I die, will you go on the way we'd have gone? Together?
No, you mustn't.
You will, won't you, for me?
Anne.
For me. Say yes.
You're not going to die.
Oh, of course not. I was just teasing you. You'll be a congressman, and you'll love me.
I'll be president, and I'll love you.
And this isn't just Valentine talk.
Anne!
I'm sorry, dear.
Wait, you ask if it's Valentine, just Valentine talk? Do you remember the last summer when we sat up here together?
So many times.
And do you remember the stone, Anne?
The stone?
Wait, I know where it is. I put it in the crotch of the old apple tree over there.
Oh, go get it.
That's your Valentine, Anne, remember?
I remember.
I found it. Look.
Way last summer.
Here's your Valentine, Anne, darling.
I remember what you carved on it.
Let's read it together, shall we? And always remember. On this spot in New Salem, Illinois, on February 13th, 1833, Anne Rutledge and Abraham Lincoln were betrothed. And the cold winds howl tonight in Oak Ridge around the tall monument. Gently they touch the outlines of a little mound on the graveyard above the Sangamon. And only the stone Valentine, remains to testify to our love.
The title of today's Quiet Please story is Valentine. It was written by Wyllis Cooper. In today's cast were Kevin West, who played Abe, Jeannie Calder, who played Anne, Andrew was played by David McKinnon, and Hannah, Joanne Fox. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company. Many of the facts of Anne Rutledge's life are lost to history, but some historians believe that she was the first love of Abraham Lincoln. The story goes that Rutledge was engaged to marry John McNamara, a dubious character who left for New York and promised to marry her upon his return. Rutledge and Lincoln met after this and supposedly fell in love while McNamara was away, and she promised to marry Lincoln after McNamara gave her up. For a time, Rutledge and McNamara exchanged letters, but his letters became more formal and less passionate, and eventually ceased completely. McNamara never returned to see her. In 1835, a wave of typhoid hit the town of New Salem. Anne Rutledge died at the age of 22 on August 25th, 1835. This sad event left Lincoln severely depressed. Historian John Simon concluded, available evidence overwhelmingly indicates that Lincoln so loved Anne that her death plunged him into severe depression. Many years later, after Lincoln's first election as president, Isaac Cogdall, Lincoln's old friend, asked him whether it was true that Lincoln had fallen in love with Anne. Lincoln replied,
It is true. True indeed, I did. I loved the woman dearly and soundly. She was a handsome girl, would have made a good loving wife. I did honestly and truly love the girl and think often of her now.
Anne Mays Rutledge was laid to rest in the old Concord burial ground. However, the body was exhumed and then buried in the Oakland Cemetery in Petersburg, Illinois, when an undertaker became financially interested in the cemetery in 1890. At that time, the cheap stone marker was replaced with a granite monument. Incidentally, founded in 1885, the town of Rutledge, Pennsylvania, was named after Anne Rutledge.